Good morning. It's Friday, May 30th. Here's what we're working on this morning. Partial human remains have been found at a Glenbrook landfill during a search for a missing Hamilton woman.
Wildfires have prompted a state of emergency in both Saskatchewan and Manitoba.
And the Edmonton Oilers have booked their ticket to the Stanley Cup Final for a second year in a row. Friday.
It's Friday.
Feels like a Friday.
Yes. Yeah. And I was looking over at the camera behind you, Steve, and it looks so vivid, the colors this morning. The green and the blue.
Yes, very, very nice. Well, we had all this rain. That's why everything's so nice. Gosh, like an Irish spring or something like that. But a nice day today, and we're going to start the day at least with some sunny skies. Could see some showers coming in this afternoon, but again, it should be a fairly nice day, and temperatures above seasonal, so can't complain. So, minute after 6, let's have a quick look and see what we've got on the go on the highways. Head down towards Niagara, and again, a start of the day, as it usually is down in this area by Ontario Street. Fairly calm, quiet out there. Burlington Skyway Bridge, busy. It's been a busy week along the Burlington Skyway Bridge all day, every day. But right now, moving along pretty good. West of Brant Street, or east of Brant Street along the QEW, traffic is continuing to move along in good shape. So good start to the day. Weather not a factor for the drive to work, but maybe by the time you get on the way home, we could see some showers coming up. But we'll get to the weather and check more on your traffic in a few minutes.
Okay, thanks very much, Steve. Well, Hamilton police are investigating after a small explosion at a magic mushroom dispensary in Hamilton's East End. That's where we find Simone Gavros this morning. This is near Main and Kenilworth.
Well, Annette, right now there's just one officer that remains on scene here at Shroomi's Magic Mushroom Shop. Police say this small explosion happened around 3:45 this morning. That's when they got the call. And right now you can just see that there has been damage to the front window and the door remains open to the shop. Now, police say that somebody got out of the car, went into the shop, and then there was a small explosion. There's been no details given right now about what might have caused the explosion. That's all still being investigated. Fire crews did respond and put out the small fire, but police have now taken over this investigation. They say they're looking for at least 2 suspects, but no description has been provided. They're also looking for a dark sedan, but no make or plate is available right now. So again, this happened around 3:45 this morning. That's when police got the call about this whole incident. They arrived here and now they have taken over the scene. They are still going to be looking at video surveillance footage to figure out what exactly happened here, and they're asking any witnesses to come forward. But for now, it's back over to you, Rick.
Thank you, Simone. A Hamilton man convicted of killing his wife and 2 children in the 1970s has died without revealing the location of one of the bodies. John Rallo, a former Hamilton City Hall manager, killed his wife Sandra, his 6-year-old son Jason, and 5-year-old daughter Stephanie in 1976. Sandra and Stephanie's bodies were found in waterways, but Jason's body was never recovered. During years of parole hearings, Sandra's family pleaded with Rallo to reveal the location. Rallo had always maintained his innocence. He was out on day parole when he died this week at the age of 82.
Hamilton police have found partial human remains at the Glenbrook landfill in their months-long search for a missing woman. Police can't yet say for sure that the remains belong to Shalini Singh, but they suspect that is the case. The 40-year-old woman was reported missing by her family in December. Singh lived in an apartment in Hamilton with her boyfriend, who has been uncooperative with police, but they have not described him as a suspect. Singh was last seen on surveillance footage going into their apartment building December 4th, but was not seen leaving. Police believe that she was killed in her unit and her body disposed of through the building's garbage system.
I am hopeful and optimistic that we'll receive the DNA results that we're looking for. Unfortunately, we have to wait for a few weeks to get that confirmation.
Hamilton police plan to continue their search through the Glenbrook landfill, expecting to find more remains. A 13-year-old boy from Pickering has been arrested after a woman was fatally attacked outside her home. Police in Durham region announced the arrest last night, hours after an emergency alert was issued, warning people nearby not to leave their homes. Well, the search for the suspect was underway. Durham police say a woman was outside her home in Pickering when an apparent stranger approached her in the afternoon and stabbed her. At this point, it's not known if there was a relationship between the two.
I'm shocked that a person so young has so much hate in them. So it's very troubling that a young man of grade 7, 8, or 9 has made a decision that will impact his life negatively. It's shocking.
A shelter-in-place warning was lifted after the boy was arrested. 2 provinces are now under states of emergency as wildfires continue to force thousands of people to flee their homes. Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe's declaration comes a day after his Manitoba counterpart Wab Kinew did the same. More than 4,000 people, mainly in Saskatchewan's remote northeast, have had to leave their homes. There are 17 active wildfires right now. In Manitoba, Kinew has asked the federal government for help from the military to help some of the roughly 17,000 people who have needed to be evacuated. Well, more than 8,300 Hudson's Bay employees are going to be out of work this Sunday. That's when all 80 Bay stores and 16 SAC stores in Canada will close. A nearly 600-page court document shows that about 1,000 employees will stay on another 2 weeks for cleanup. Now, Canadian Tire is waiting for court approval of a $30 million for trademarks, furniture, and apparel lines, along with the rights to advertising taglines. The Bay has received 12 offers for 39 leases, which still need landlord consent and court approval. A Burlington tennis coach is pretty proud to see one of his former students, Victoria Mbako, playing in the 3rd round of the French Open.
Vicky was always around the court, and when she was 4, she'd come in her tennis outfit, and when we'd pick up the balls during her sister's lesson, Vicky would go to the baseline and get herself ready in a tennis position, demanding to be fed balls. And that attitude stayed with her for the whole time.
That's Coach Pierre Lamarche. He met Victoria and her family when they first moved to Canada and convinced them to move to Burlington. The 18-year-old has had quite a year. She was ranked 333rd in the world, then won 10 straight sets to vault into the 3rd round. Right now, she is playing the 8th-seeded player, Chen Wenzheng, who is also an Olympic gold medalist. It's got lots more coming up in sports. Throw it over to you.
Yes, thank you very much. And it is time for Sportsline. I'll get to that scoreline in a second, but we have ourselves a Stanley Cup final rematch.
First goals in this series, Evan Bouchard has one. It'll come right in front. Scores! Corey Perry from Connor McDavid. And they strike first again.
Yes, indeed, do. The Edmonton Oilers going back to the Cup final after dumping the Dallas Stars 6-3 in Game 5 of the Western Conference Final. Edmonton scored on their first 2 shots of the game, including the opening goal by 40-year-old Corey Perry, who netted his 7th of the postseason. Oilers captain Connor McDavid had a goal and an assist to help set up a rematch against the defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. Only this time, the Oilers have home ice advantage and will host Game 1 next Wednesday. Maple Leafs general manager Brad Treliving held his year-end news conference yesterday and says fans should expect changes this offseason, including those between the ears.
There's some DNA that has to change in our team. That's one thing that I found. If you keep getting to the same result, and that's not to dismiss a lot of the good that happened up into it, when you keep getting the same result, there's some DNA that needs to change.
Toronto's biggest question marks this offseason revolve around the future of unrestricted free agent forwards Mitch Marner and John Tavares, as well as restricted free agent Matthew Nyes. The Knicks stayed alive in the NBA East Finals by beating the Pacers 111-94, cutting Indiana's series lead to 3-2. Jalen Brunson led New York with 32 points. Karl Anthony Towns added 24 points and 13 rebounds despite playing with a bruised left knee. Indiana will try to punch their ticket to the finals at home tomorrow. All right, here we go. Round 3 of the French Open underway at Roland Garros, and that's where we find 18-year-old Victoria Mboko of Burlington, who's playing Olympic champion Qinwen Zhang of China this morning. Zhang won the first set 6-3 and leads 3-2 in the second set. Yesterday, Canadian Denis Shapovalov lost his second-round match in 5 sets, while fellow Canuck Gabriel Diallo fell in 4. The Blue Jays erupted for 8 runs in the second inning, added 3 more in the third, and hammered the Athletics 12-0 last night. Ernie Clement homered and drove in 5 runs, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Bo Bichette, and George Springer all went deep, while Jose Barrios and 2 relievers combined on a 4-hitter in Toronto's second straight shutout. The A's have lost 3 straight games and 14 of their last 15. Brandon Hoope hit a 3-run triple in the 8th inning to power the Welland Jackfish to a 13-1 victory over Brantford in intercounty baseball action. Toronto dumped Kitchener 5-2, and Barrie slammed Chatham-Kent 13-2. Tonight, the Hamilton Cardinals host the Baycats starting at 7:35 at Bernie Arbor Stadium on the Hamilton Mountain. CFL preseason comes to a close tonight with 4 exhibition games on the docket. The Ticats and Argos meet in Guelph, and Hamilton receiver Keandre Smith says he wants to be the aggressors this year.
Anytime you can dominate the other team physically, you're going to have more fun. No one likes being pushed around. Everyone likes to rather be the bully, be the hammer, not the nail. And being in Hamilton, being that tough-ass team, that's what we're going to do.
Elsewhere tonight, Ottawa hosts Montreal, Winnipeg visits Saskatchewan, and BC travels to Edmonton. The regular season kicks off June 5th, while the Ticats open their season on June 7th in Calgary. The London Knights play the Moncton Wildcats tonight in the Memorial Cup semi-final. The winner will advance to Sunday's final against Medicine Hat. Tomorrow, Hamilton's Forge FC hosts Cavalry at 5 p.m. at Hamilton Stadium. And on the soccer pitch overseas, Inter Milan and PSG meet in Munich in the Champions League final.
Okay, let's check some traffic out there. 6:11 on your Friday. Weather not a factor today, and for the most part, we're looking at pretty good shape today. All right, let's head out there right now and get an idea of what's going on. Usual slow spot this week has been the Burlington Skyway Bridge, Toronto-bound lanes, and they are closest to us. And right now, things are moving along in good shape, so let's hope it stays that way. Down towards Niagara, it's fairly quiet right now, starting to see the sun peek through the clouds, and Ontario Street seeing no major problems. As we get into the QEW, that run into Oakville, Mississauga, into the Toronto area, starting out okay. Traffic's moving along in good shape there at Brant Street. Up by the Ford plant, seeing no problems. Up by Pearson Airport, again, traffic's moving along in good shape. A little bit lighter than it has been, I think, the last few mornings at this time. 403 Dundas Street. And as we look through 401 in the Hogs Hollow, again, traffic's moving along in pretty good shape. All right, let's check your weather now and give us an idea what's going on. So for the most part, we're starting the day today with a little bit of cloud and sunny conditions out there. What's going to happen? Well, low pressure is still moving by us and still has some rain with us. As we get into later parts of the morning and into the afternoon, we'll see a cold front. You can see it right here. Will move through the area, and this will trigger some showers or thunderstorms into the afternoon and the evening time. But after that, we're looking for a nice sunny day for tomorrow, by the way, which is a better improvement than what we talked about yesterday, which we thought there might be some showers out there. Here's another way of showing it. Here comes this low pressure moving through. Here's the cold front, and behind it will be coming cooler air. So the weekend should be fairly sunny, at least Saturday. Temperatures a little bit below seasonal. But as we get into next week, more high pressure comes in and bringing with it warmer air. So that will be kind of nice. I think you'll like the extended forecast when we look at it a few minutes from now. Here's your temperatures outside. A degree or so warmer than it was yesterday. Hamilton, Grimsby looking at 13, Mississauga 14, Toronto 11 degrees currently outside. Your almanac for today, the sun was up at 5:43 a.m. down at 8:53 p.m. tonight. Normal highs 22 degrees this time of year. And today we're looking for a high of 23, feeling like 25. So a little bit above seasonal, which we have not had. And again, a slight chance of a shower into the afternoon and some 20-kilometer-an-hour winds, UV low at 1. So that's what we've got on the go for tonight. If you're heading outside doing things tonight, it'll be seasonal. Slight chance of a shower or even a thunderstorm after midnight. But until then, we'll see temperatures in around seasonal conditions in around 12 degrees. And for tomorrow, a high of 18. Again, a little cooler, but partly clear, so shouldn't be a bad day for tomorrow. After that, we'll look and see what happens when we look at our extended forecast in a few minutes. But that's it for now.
Thanks, Steve. Coming up after the break, we're going to say good morning to Emily Vukovic with a preview of what's to come in Chit Chat. And U.S. President Donald Trump can keep collecting tariffs for now. Details coming up in 2.
Okay, we're going to say good morning to Emily Vukovic, who is just having a chit chat with Steve.
Well, he met my friends at Burlington Footnotes yesterday, and I was really hoping he was going to get his groove on, but apparently Steve's not a dancer, so.
I can't wait to see them, though, because we were hearing things yesterday.
Oh, they're just the best group, and I am so excited to see them again. Okay, coming up, Sydney Sweeney. She is selling soap with her bath water infused in it. People are buying it.
Wow.
Okay.
Like, I have big plans for us, you guys. I have big plans. Hamilton original cast is reuniting. And
the play, not the city.
The play, not the city. Yes, not us here. And later on this morning, we'll have some of the celebrities making an appearance at this weekend's Niagara Falls Comic-Con.
We have a packed show today. Thanks very much. Okay, in overseas trading this morning, the Canadian dollar has dropped 5 basis points to 75.38 cents U.S. Gold is down $22.80. Crude oil has gained 34 cents. It's now at $61.28 U.S. a barrel. Checking midday trading in Europe, markets are up in London, Frankfurt, and Paris.
Over in Asia, markets were down in Tokyo, Hong Kong, and Shanghai. And in North American markets, the TSX lost 72 points, while the Dow added 117, and the Nasdaq closed up 74 points as investors reacted to U.S. court decisions blocking and then temporarily reinstating many of President Donald Trump's tariffs. U.S. stock futures fell this morning as investors continue to navigate a volatile global trade landscape.
Speaking of those tariffs, the U.S. Court of Appeals says it's going to review a lower court ruling that struck down those sweeping tariffs in the United States and says the duties will remain in place in the meantime.
They've stayed the order of the court, and we will go, obviously, to the appeals court and, if necessary, up the chain from there. And what we see this is as this broader problem of rogue judges erecting essentially a judicial blockade.
Now, the U.S. Court of International Trade had ruled that President Donald Trump overstepped his authority, imposing the so-called Liberation Day tariffs on almost every country in the world. The ruling did not include separate tariffs on steel, aluminum, and vehicles. Earlier yesterday, Prime Minister Mark Carney welcomed the court decision.
The government welcomes yesterday's decision by the U.S. Court of International Trade, which is consistent with Canada's long-standing position that the U.S. IEEPA tariffs were unlawful as well as unjustified.
Carney notes Canada is going to continue to renegotiate its trade relationship with the United States. The complainants and the Trump administration have until June 5th and June 9th, respectively, to respond to the Court of Appeals.
The early impacts of U.S. tariffs are expected to be detailed today by Statistics Canada. The agency will report on real GDP figures for March and for the first quarter as a whole. A Reuters poll of economists found they expect growth edged up to 1.7% in the quarter. The stats will come as the Bank of Canada prepares for an interest rate decision next week.
And results from Canada's big banks this quarter seem to agree that the U.S. tariffs hit has not been as hard as feared. The big six banks added more than $6 billion in provisions for credit losses in the second quarter. That's up from $4.36 billion last year. Earnings from CIBC, National Bank, BMO, and TD all came in ahead of expectations, while Scotiabank and RBC missed analyst estimates as they added more provisions for credit throwdowns than expected.
We're going to take a quick break right now. Steve is going to return with traffic and your 7-day forecast. Good morning.
All right, 6:24 on your Friday, and a little bit of sun out there today. Isn't that kind of nice? It's a nice start to the day, nice glow. Looking at the Garden City Skyway Bridge down in St. Catharines, traffic's moving along in pretty good shape. Up towards Hamilton, Burlington Skyway Bridge, Toronto-bound lanes, closest ones to us coming towards us. Again, traffic's a little bit lighter than it has been for the last 3 or 4 days. I should also mention that the Fort Erie-bound lanes on the other side, 2 lanes will be closed on the bridge tonight, starting at 10 p.m. and not open again till Monday at 5 a.m. So again, if you're going to be driving in around that area on the weekend, it's going to be a little on the slow side for sure. Getting up to Pearson Airport, traffic again is moving along okay. So traffic is in good shape today. Weather not a factor, and traffic is a little bit lighter. As far as air quality is concerned, that's of course with the wildfires out west, especially in Saskatchewan and Manitoba this year. Just wondering, how does that affect us? Well, not a huge effect on us, but just talking to the folks at Environment Canada, there is a slight chance later on today of some upper level smoke to be coming down this way. We won't likely notice it, but it may seem a little hazy with the sun out there, but the sun may not be there because we're looking for some rain as well. But there is a slight chance of that, but it's not affecting air quality for the most part, at least at this point, but we are watching it. As far as the low pressure system moving through, we do have a front which will come through and trigger perhaps some showers, maybe some thunderstorms for a short period of time tonight, but temperatures are kind of nice, and we'll see mostly sunny skies up until later parts of the day, getting up to 23, feeling like 25, so that's a couple degrees higher than seasonal, 1 or 2. Your evening commute, again, we could see some rain. It could be partly cloudy, not exactly sure. You have a chance of this all around. Temperatures certainly nicely up there, 21 to 23 degrees, so we'll take that, and the extended forecast shows feeling like 25 today with that temperature of 23. Saturday, we thought yesterday there might be some showers, but it looks like they'll hold off until Sunday. So Saturday will be a little on the cool side, but sunny. Chance of some showers on Sunday. And next week, we get into a few days of nice conditions and those temperatures at or above seasonal. So not too bad out there at all. We'll check up on everything again in just a few minutes.
Okay, thanks very much, Steve. Well, we know all animals are special in their own right, but scientists wanted to know what makes orange cats orange.
There's a new study, and it has unraveled the long-standing mystery behind their golden hue. Scientists say they have an unusual mutation that likely occurred once during domestication and then was selectively bred for. And it may have happened hundreds of years ago, since there are depictions of calico cats in Chinese art dating back to the 12th century. And this handsome fluff ball, well, that's Bonnie, who belongs to Simone's grandmother. Simone says Nana really likes the name Bonnie, so much, in fact, she just keeps using it. Yes, he's a boy named Bonnie, and he's totally cool with it.
He's chunky. Love that. And apparently this mutation is on the X chromosome, and that's why most orange cats are male.
Wow.
Yeah.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Stay with us. More to come after the break. Who knows? Maybe more cat pics.
Cat news.